Good morning, everybody. Jody Brozick with WinterWarriorsLive.com. Here with head coach Dan Aaker of your Winter Warriors. Dan, another week in the books, another victory in the books. Let's talk about that MVP team in that road game.
Number one, give MVP a lot of credit. I thought they really battled us hard and were prepared for us. I didn't think we played particularly well. I didn't think we had a very good week of practice, so I wasn't necessarily really surprised of how our performance was on Friday. We saw some good things, but and sometimes football games can go in a big momentum. We had a nice defensive stop and a long drive to score. We had a big play right down the middle. If we complete that, and should have completed that, who knows where that game goes, because the momentum can get going pretty strong. Defensively, we had two drives the entire game, and that we just literally didn't stop them at all. And then we had 10 and 11 of the other drives where we didn't give them anything. So it was just really kind of up and down. I thought we responded in the second half because we kind of challenged them at halftime about playing with some heart and playing with some toughness and fighting a little bit, with it being 8-8, because that team was outplaying us and I think wanted it more at that time. So I thought we had a pretty good second half till we gave up the late drive and an onside kick, and now you're just trying to hold on. So we always talk about feeling good when you walk off the field. I don't know if any of us felt good about the way we played, whether you win or lose. I guess the good thing is I think we all learned a lesson, and rarely do you learn those lessons and still get the victory. So we feel kind of fortunate that way, and I don't think we took a step forward last week either. We always talk about getting better and taking a step forward. I don't think we did that last week, so we're really kind of challenging this week. What are we going to do to make up for lost ground? But a lot of that goes to MVP. I thought they really fought us hard and hung in there. So, we're still happy to get out of there with the victory, but not very happy with the way we played.
You talked about not feeling good coming off the field. What has been the response of your team over the years the following week? What do you expect out of your team going forward?
I don't know if I've never not seen a response. I think a lot of times they understand completely what we're talking about, and that usually we address that right after the game. And we always see that response and it's probably two ways. It's a little more response to scouting report and film study and the mental side of it, and then the intensity coming to practice. I mean, I talked 2 weeks ago with Valentine Week was the best week of practice we've had in maybe years. I mean, it was just great. Well, you need to understand that's how you're going to play. You can't flip it on like a light switch. It just doesn't work that way. So, usually, typically, and that's the way it was this week, nice response. So I feel good about going in this one, just because I think we're prepared. I didn't have a good feeling going over there Friday. You can ask my coaches. I said that even Thursday. I said I got a weird feeling about this one. It just didn't feel right. I mean, we didn't have that, and hopefully, this week those things were addressed.
Defensively, you did a great job. Offensively, some missed opportunities. But one thing that was consistent in that game was your line play. One of the question marks coming into the season with all the turnover from last year's season. Give me your assessment of that offensive and defensive line play.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've progressively gotten better, and we're really into probably a 7-person rotation on the offensive line. Levi obviously had experience from last year, Justice a little bit, and we're really kind of led by those guys, and then the underclassmen surround him with Shea and Elijah and AJ. And I think the big thing, we're pretty good, decent size. We're not huge. The guard's a little smaller, but tackles in the center are pretty good size. But the thing with what we do and the different fronts, that's probably the biggest thing. Teams will do so many different things up front trying to stop a running game, that the mental side of it takes time. Even, I looked back last year, that was probably one of the biggest things we had going for us, because all those guys were back and understood the line calls. We're finally getting that now and getting to the point where we're having everybody maybe make their own calls rather than a Levi sitting there at guard understanding, telling everybody else what to do. You got to pick that up and be vocal yourself. And I think we've seen that come. Oscar and Colton have come in and given us depth, and we rotate them now all the time. Where every series one of those guys is in, giving us a nice little breather. So I think offensive line wise, we're definitely coming on. I shouldn't forget our tight ends either. Nick Lance and Nate Smither and Dolph Baker come in there too, because they really mostly blocking linemen for us. So I've likened the strides that we've come offensively. Defensively, we've been solid up front. all year. And I would say the strength of our defense is kind of in the middle, with our two DTs and then Levi at middle backer. Our DTs aren't sideline to sideline guys. Justice and AJ and Oscar Colton all rotate in there. We've had some sideline to sideline guys, but sometimes the quicker, more aggressive ones are susceptible to trap and things. These guys are really solid about containing their gaps. And defensive ends, I think have did a good job progressively getting better. Those were big areas of loss after this year, and I think Nick and Elijah, and then Jerry and Dalton, those guys have really worked hard to get better. So I think the whole point of your question probably is everybody knows that area of the game is where it's won, and we've definitely gotten better and still getting better. And when we look at how we game finishes up a night, you can most likely look at it, we win that battle. We know we're not going to, we can't lose the battle. It at least has to be a draw, I think. But we won most of them this year, so pretty happy.
With the development of any area of your team, and you, Dan, are going to be the first one to point this out. It's all about your assistant coaches. Why don't you take a moment and give the fans out there a chance to meet your coaches?
And then you're right. You're only as good as the people you surround yourself with. And I think our group, we've had good camaraderie, and we have since I've been here, even though we've had some changeovers. But Trent Olson, I'll start with Trent Olson. Trent's been with me for 16 years. He was freshman coach for the first couple, and then moved up to varsity. And he's been running the defense since, I think, 2010. So, and it's really his defense. We talk things over for game plan and stuff, but I rarely get involved in any of the play calls on a Friday night. I'll maybe make a suggestion here every once in a while, but the blitz calls and all that stuff is his deal. And he does a really good job of preparing and really takes control on the defensive side during practice. So we've had some pretty darn good defenses, and a lot of that's attributed to him. Kevin Keyser is our linebackers, and he works running backs too. And Kevin is a graduate winner and alumni. Same with Trent and like Sam. All three of them are winner guys, which is nice. I think part of that, and not to get off here a little bit, is that helps too because they understand the tradition and the program and the community and the kids. I mean that really helps a lot. But Kevin was a good football player here, All-Stater, I believe. And he does a really good job with our linebackers and running backs. And he was head coach at Colome, so there's a lot of knowledge there too. And then Sam Olson's been helping us the last few years, but now is full paid assistant, and he works with the defensive and offensive lines. And I said, but we just mentioned those are big parts of it. My brother Larry was on staff last year. He's not a full-time staff now, but he still helps out on Friday nights. And Glenn Carlson, who's been kind of helping out for a long time when he can, still comes and helps out too. So really solid staff. Appreciate the hard work. I mean, I don't know if people really understand the amount of work that goes into film study and out of school and after practice work that happens in the evenings and weekends. We expect a lot, but our philosophy, we always tell our guys the first meeting we have of the year that there's no staff that's going to outwork us. There may be staffs that work as hard as us, but no staff's going to outwork us. We'll have you ready. And it's a two-way street. We do our job, you do yours, and we really believe that.
This is homecoming week, and we've got a rival from the north coming to town, the Chamberlain Cubs. Go ahead, give the fans a preview of the Cubs, who are now under a new leadership, new head coach.
I think the most talented Chamberlain team that I've seen in a long time. They got athletes running around. They're big up front. Everybody knows Nash Hutmaker, and they should know him. He's a heck of a player, but they got other guys, big, good-sized guys, and still young up front. Jazz Dominguez, their quarterback, can sling it, and they'll throw it 30 times a game if they need to. He's got a really strong arm. Our big concern is not getting over the top and underestimating that arm because he will take chances. And they got guys that'll catch the ball, Riggs Preed, Carson Powers. I mean, they got athletes running around there, so they're concerned. They'll spread it out. They're going to be the second week in a row. We're not going to see a tight end and multiple receivers. And we got to do a good job of covering, and probably more importantly, we got to get a good job of getting some pressure on him, not letting him throw. But that all starts by stopping the run game first because they will run it. So a lot of challenge to us defensively. Offensively, that the big front is going to be the big thing for us. Can we block them? And then they blitz enough that we're going to be blocking one-on-one a lot, I think. So can we win those one-on-one battles? If we do, I think there's yards to be gained and we can move the ball. But we've worked really hard this week on picking eyes up and picking those blitzers up, because that's one thing I think we really struggled against MVP at times. So, like I said, we were on, I think, a 12-game win streak against Chamberlain, and much like Valentine, this team is going to want us. And much like Valentine, I think they think this is the year to do it. I think this is the team they think they can get us. So we got to match that intensity and that mindset, and understand that a big week for everybody here with a lot of things going on. But I've been really, really, really happy with the attention we've had in practice, getting ready for this week, and with all the homecoming stuff going on. And our guys also understand that we are playing for the alumni that are here, and the community and the school and everything that goes with homecoming. I really feel that we'll be ready to play a good game.
With that, Dan, I wish you good luck tonight.
Thanks, Tony.